Namaskar and a very good afternoon, everyone. From one Swaayambhu to another Swaayambhu, and from one Swaayambhu, our guest, Mr. Suneel Agarwal, to all the aspiring Swayambhus, we are going to discuss about Zing Quotient. हमने IQ सुना है, EQ सुना है, अब ये नया ZQ क्या है? So let us understand from Suneel Agarwal what is the Zing thing, the Zing Quotient. Now, why did we think of this Zing? We have been talking about how to set up your profession. We have been thinking about how to keep yourself motivated. We have been talking about singing as a career, dancing as a career, and how to set up your goals, how to have a finance, how to understand your finances, so many things. But why this Zing? This is only to have people who are more energetic, who are more curious on the show. So let us have curious viewers today and welcome Suneel ji. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar, Sangeeta.
So how are you
the
today?
Same that I know. Do you know, does 18th March 08 strike a bell to you?
Now that you're saying it, it does. I think we met at your salon.
Yeah. So 18th March 08. So that's exactly about 12 and a half years ago.
Whoa. So I have been having an exile of friendship. So now you know what is in store for you. Something very witty, something zingy coming across to you. Zing reminds you of a Zing burger. Zing reminds you of the movie, where you had the zing factor coming across between the protagonist. And let us see what Zing Suneel ji brings to the table here. So something about Suneel ji. Suneel Agarwal is a brand architect, presenter, coach, and a transformation speaker. Since 3 decades, he has been sharing his experiences on brand, cultivating strong brands, including Johnson & Johnson, Castrol, Birla, Lifestyle, and ITC, among others. Now, he doesn't like anybody introducing him much, but I'm sure as we go along, you will have insight and definitely understand different layers of Suneel ji. So here we go, sir. Sir, please share.
Sangeeta, sir bolke, are you trying to sound younger than me?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Okay.
You got it.
Good strategy.
Right. So I'll be young as I can. Sir ji, please bataiye, how did you get this word Zing Quotient?
So, Sangeeta, first of all, it's really an irony that on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, when most of them should be sleeping, snoring, enjoying the siesta, you called them to talk about Zing on Sunday afternoon. So so it's a bitter news and a good news. The bitter news is that those who are sleeping, they better continue to snore. And those who are actually wanting to wake up, this is your program for them. I think that's why you had the Zing factor. Okay. So what is Zing, first of all? Sangeeta, what does Zing come to your mind when you think of Zing?
The sound is so vibrating. Maybe it means energy.
Yeah, is as good as putting your phone on vibrator mode. Is that what you mean?
No. Vibrate doesn't give you any energy. In fact, I think when you answer, it saps your energy. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you actually mean Zing, Zing means the energy inside you. And over my journey, I have found that people love to be in inertia. They are in a force which is dormant. And as inertia says, they expect an outside force to come and push them. And those who achieve are actually those who don't wait for the push to come from outside, but have a pushing factor within them rather than wait for outside forces to compel them to move. And that is why the ZQ is usually the differentiating factor, not in good times, but in tough times. And during this lockdown, as they say, when the tide goes down, we figure out who is swimming naked. And while the going is good, everybody rides the wave, they enjoy, they take the benefit of the booming economy. But when things get tough, people don't have an outside momentum, but have to look within to find the momentum to keep going. And that's why Zing is so crucial.
So, according to what you just shared, adversity does not make character, it shows character.
Adversity builds character.
Okay.
See, you don't even know how strong you are till you are pushed into adversity. And as my signature of my program TV Suneel says, that people are like tea bags. You only know their true colors when you put them in hot water.
Right.
And sometimes people are painfully surprised that they are unable to cope up with adversity. And sometimes they're pleasantly surprised that they've been able to overcome a challenge which they never thought that they could ever face.
True. So are you born with this Zing, or do you acquire it or cultivate it? How does a person go about?
See, I tried going to a few chemist shops looking for Zing in tablets and in vials, but I didn't find any. I have seen the horoscopes of people. I found nobody is born with Zing. So Zing is something that has no age, gender, position, riches. It is agnostic. And also you can develop at any stage of your life. You've heard of the term called late bloomers.
Yes.
So you don't have to start your journey very early. So the day you discover the Zing, your story starts from there.
Okay. So does this Zing appreciate with age or depreciate with age, or depreciate or appreciate with circumstances?
Very good question, Sangeeta. Neither it is like wine that matures over time, nor is it something like soda that evaporates. But Zing is subject to gravity.
Okay.
So just like good habits just need a little complacency to lose, Zing also is looking for the slightest complacency to exit from you.
Okay.
So you cannot capture it and say, I have now, like a genie, captured you inside the bottle. Now you have to stay here forever. Zing needs constant nourishment. It needs constant maturing, and it needs constant positivity to keep it moving.
So then, what are the ways to increase the Zing or to maintain it well?
Okay,
how
so
do we do that?
That's a very pertinent question. Now, I think it first starts with a desire to do something. If you're happy with the way things are, as I said, ना कोई उमंग है, ना कोई तरंग है, मेरी जिंदगी एक कटी पतंग है. They don't need Zing. They're very happy just lying around. Now, the day you get up and you realize, what am I doing while living in my life? That would be the starting point for the Zing to start entering into your life. So it has to get a foothold into your life by your consciousness. When you decide that I can't take things lying down, I can't be happy with the way I am, and I want to bring about a definite change. Without that, life goes on.
So what actually feeds the Zing in you?
As I said, the starting point is the consciousness. Because there will be a time when people will say, what the hell am I doing about my life? Will I continue to waste my life, or will I continue to while away my life, or what am I doing? I have nothing to write home about. And that will actually make them introspect about what they need to do that they have never done before, or what they need to change amongst what they are actually doing. And so that is the starting point. And then you have to actually do a diagnosis, an evaluation of the things that either you have shied away, dodged, or pushed under the carpet, or have not gone for it because they looked too big a mountain to climb. And only when you start looking at them will you start figuring out how I can overcome them. See, if you have a loan of 10 rupees or if you have a loan of 10 crore rupees, if you don't intend to pay, it doesn't matter.
True.
But if you want to pay or you want to achieve, that will be the starting point to figure out what can I do to overcome this mountain.
Right. Right. Sir, when you mentioned Zing Quotient, we thought it will be something very light-hearted. But the way things are moving, the way the conversation is happening, besides being an internal aspect, I think this is a very important aspect.
Yeah, so Sangeeta, people normally take Zing to be happy-go-lucky, to be full of beans, or jovial people. I am all for it. But that should not be the only purpose of life. So if you are keeping yourself positive, you're keeping your chin up, great. But that can't be a permanent makeup. So you have to do something behind the scenes. So Zing factor is so crucial. So I'm reminded by, I come from the field of brands and the field of marketing and advertising. At a very early age, I read an ad about a SUV that the Jeep wasn't made to be driven on bad roads. The Jeep was made to be driven where there are no roads.
Right.
And the Zing factor helps you make inroads where there are none. It helps you not open the doors, but to create doors where people can't even see a door.
Right. Right. Sir, how important is Zing if a person is talented? Can you talented?
Talent.
So talent versus Zing.
Okay.
Which aspect or element would you give more weightage?
Sangeeta, I mean, I was just thinking just before the program. It's very impromptu. I don't know what you're going to ask me, and it's really true. But actually, I have found talented people lag behind compared to the others. Do you know why?
They are overconfident.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So what happens is that those who are talented get complacent because they can do things better than the others. And then the proverbial hare and tortoise story that we have learned so early in life comes into play. That rather than build on that talent, they actually get complacent with the talent, and those who work hard actually overtake them.
Right. Right.
So talent is like a head start. Talent is actually getting a good hand in your playing your cards compared to getting a weak hand. But if you don't know how to play, you are not going to win the game.
Right. Right. Well said. Well said. Amazing. I really thought this is going to be a jovial, fun-loving session.
We can
But this
switch if
is,
you like.
yes, yes, it is amazing. It is amazing. You know, because what you are sharing really makes sense. What you're sharing really makes sense. I would like to welcome all the viewers who have joined us. Namaskar and thank you, Anil ji. Thank you, Mr. Mahesh Agarwal. Thank you, Yogesh. Thank you, Om Patil. Thank you, young chef Anishka. Thank you, Bipin. Please ask your questions. As we continue, we are going to address all the questions. We are not going to wait for the last 15-20 minutes to ask questions. So you may please post your questions and thank you for joining us. Sir, how will a person understand that he has lost his zing or he doesn't have any zing anymore?
So I have a favorite tea in my TV Suneel series, which I learned looking at a taxi. If taxi doesn't agree, since you are in Pune, maybe a tuk-tuk will be better. Both begin with T. So if you are driving behind a taxi and he has no passenger, you can imagine it can be a very, very tough task because he's just meandering around. And you get so irritated. Why are you blocking my way? But you can see the transformation. The moment a passenger gets in, then he drives as if there's no tomorrow. So the biggest way to create zing is to find a purpose, to get up in the morning. I have myself noticed during the lockdown that the day I have a series of programs, even if I have retired late, without an alarm, I'm able to get up. And the day I have something, the body kind of makes you feel very complacent. You must have experienced it yourself. So you don't have to look to scientists or psychologists to tell you whether you have the zinc factor. If you get up in the morning with a purpose, an agenda, something that you want to do, that is the raw material for zinc. And if you are wondering, oh my God, another day, it means your plate is empty. The only thing on your plate is when you go to eat, but you have nothing on your plate to achieve or to deliver or to act upon.
Sir, for everything, you have a certain phase in life. So there are certain things which are right at that point of time. When you are a kid, your studies are important. When you are young, your work, your career, what you do with your knowledge is important. As you grow older, keeping yourself busy, being occupied, and like you mentioned very correctly, having a purpose which keeps you happy is important. So which is the phase where zinc plays the most important role?
As I told you earlier, it is like awareness. When you grow up, your parents are nudging you all the while and trying to make you from a dependent to an independent. And are hoping that you grow up as quickly as possible. But there is no age to grow up. Some people only age biologically, but not in their minds. As you can see, you are facing one. Or you can be taller than your years. You met some children who look very wise. So it is a matter of the penny dropping, the realization coming, that if it is to be, it is up to me. The day that realization comes, like for example, if you see the academics are also designed that during your school, you don't have the freedom to bunk.
Right.
Because those are your formative years. You need, but as soon as you go to college, they think now you better realize what's important for you and what's not. And similarly, the day you decide that I need to take ownership, I need to be answerable, I'm responsible for what I achieve, the Zing will be omnipresent in you all the time. So Zing is not something visible, but it's like a well-wisher. It's like a friend. It's a friend in times of stress, in times, because whenever you're down, you can either look for somebody else to pick you up, or you can develop your Zing to lift you when your spirits are down.
From what you share, I understand that it is a total internal aspect. It is your internal strength. So earlier I was under the misconception that there could be external energy sappers.
So Sangeeta, I'll pause you here. Zing can be external.
Okay, how?
Only as a start.
Okay.
Like you must have been pushed by your parents to brush your teeth, to get up early. That was external. But they can't be with you all the time. Now, whether you internalize that external push and incorporated it, then it became your own. Then even when they were not there, you continue to do it because you realize the value of it.
Right.
So, for example, your teachers instilled some habits in you when you were young. At that time, you didn't have an option. But when you grew up, you had a choice either to throw them out of the window or continue to embrace them. So it can be external, but after it has been introduced, whether it is a welcome guest or an unwanted intruder, entirely depends on your hospitality.
Okay. So for all you know, the energy sapper could be a parasite and he's feeding on your being complacent.
Okay, so let me elaborate on this. So I have been lucky with both my wives. I have been unlucky with both my wives.
Okay.
My first one left me and the second one didn't.
Okay.
Before you start laughing too much, what I'm referring to are my good habits and my bad habits. Now, the good habits leave you in a jiffy because it doesn't take a while to decide I'm going to get up late tomorrow or to give up a discipline. But bad habits have to be pushed out with bulldozers. And therefore, Zing is not permanent. It will have intrusions. It will have distractions. It will have those moments when you say, oh my God, it's okay. Let it go. And then you don't know how the gravity takes over. And then there's a free fall.
Fantastic. Sir, we have got a viewer, Mr. Om Patil, asking a question. So, sir, are you trying to say that the Zing can make you powerful mentally and helps you to create a better self?
You hit the nail on the head. Whether there's anything inside or not, but the nail has gone through. So what it means is that it's a very key factor for your mental toughness. Because the Zing is nothing but saying that, sorry, I have to figure it out myself. And if you realize, Sangeeta, if you go through back your journey when you had ups and downs and everything, you had to lift yourself up yourself.
True.
Somebody may have inspired you, somebody may have given you some words, but they cannot carry you on their shoulders. So, Mr. Om, you're absolutely right that it helps you not only become a better person, it gives you the much wanted insurance and the belief that when things will go down, I will manage to lift myself again.
Perfect. Perfect. I hope, Mr. Patil, you have received the appropriate answer. And keep your questions coming. You can ask more than one question, please. So, Sangeeta, whatever it takes,
ups and downs
just type it out.
Are really a way of life. and I met somebody who kept arguing that he's had more ups and downs than me. And I kept on saying, no, you couldn't have had, I've had more ups and downs than me. Eventually I gave up. I said, why do you say that you've had so many ups and downs more than me? He's saying, I am a liftman.
Okay. Yeah, you can't beat that. Right. So now we have a question from Shehnaz Hussain Chawla. She has a question saying, how do I ensure that I don't lose the zing in me?
Shehnaz, welcome. Shehnaz is from Pune, Sangeeta, and she was part of my team at one time when we had a branch in Pune. So you cannot look for any insurance, Shehnaz. Like abilities need sharpening of the saw, abilities need constant mentoring, constant development. Even Zing will gradually erode and vanish if it is not fed with periodic positivity, periodic testing of the muscle, because you cannot expect it like a static possession that you have gained, but it is a volatile, dynamic something inside that constantly has to be developed, nurtured, and kept alive inside.
Thank you for the question, Ms. Shehnaz. Thank you for the question. And I want more reasons to thank everybody. So keep your questions coming. Another question.
Has anybody asked you when is this program going to end, Shehnaz?
No, not yet. I don't think it's coming anyways.
Not yet.
So another question from Rohit. He says, sir, do you feel the early years of our life shape the zing that is realized later in our lives?
Well, to a certain extent, yes, because scientists have found that you probably decide a lot of you by the age of 8, some say by the age of 12. But I think it's a very defeatist attitude if you think you cannot change things around. So if you started early, as I said, like talent, you build on it, but doesn't mean that, if you haven't had it, you can never get it. You can get it even at 20, at 40, at 60. And if you don't want, you can't get it throughout your life. So it actually is waiting for your call. If you don't call, it's not going to come. And if you keep on saying, oh, now at this age, what will I do? So they're saying you don't grow old because you think that way. Because you think in a particular way, you get old. So therefore, you have to keep that desire, that feeling that I can still achieve it. And that's the starting point.
So it begins with self-realization.
Absolutely.
That I need it, I am missing it.
Yeah, because right? So Sangeeta, you tell me, if today can you juxtapose enthusiasm into somebody?
No, we can't. Not beyond the extent.
So a man was traveling on a Tonga in a village. And he was surprised that the Tonga was stopping erratically. And there was an empty road. After he stopped, he got down and he saw a very amusing scene. He saw the Tonga driver come in front of the horse and start dancing. And then he started moving. He got curious, saying, what kind of this? He's saying, you can't believe me. This horse was a wedding horse. Till somebody dances in front of it and never keeps moving. And that's motivation for you. You expect somebody to keep you moving, and you have to find how to make that dance yourself.
What you say is so profound, though you are saying it on such a lighter note, but it is so profound when you say.
But it's always lost and found.
Yeah. You have already covered this point, but anyway, we have got Mr. Yogesh Kulkarni who is asking this question once again. Maybe he wants you to elaborate further. How to understand that now I don't have a zing in me, it needs to be generated and have to work on it.
So there's a very simple word called excitement. So, Mr. Yogesh, when you get up in the morning, ask yourself, am I excited about the day? If you're excited, it means you have something that you want to do and you have something that you have to do. Now, sometimes the zing disappears because you get engaged in things you don't enjoy doing. So, gradually, you will have to inject something that you enjoy doing, because they say when you do what you enjoy, it becomes pleasure. When you do what you don't enjoy, it is called stress. So, Sangeeta, you look back at your journey. If you enjoy making a presentation, if you enjoy making a talk, even if it's 2 in the night, you don't even realize the time. And if there's something you don't want to do, oh my God, no, I'll do it tomorrow. I've had enough for today. So the simple litmus test is, are you excited? And if you are not excited, it means you have to create some excitement in your life. Okay, let me also add something they have not asked you. I understand there are many things in life which you cannot change so easily. Like people want to change their job, but there are not many jobs during the lockdown. People want to try different avenues, but there are not many avenues. So you inject by doing something that you are passionate about. Inject with a good hobby, inject with some development, inject with something that will give you the excitement to look forward to. So somebody starts learning a musical instrument, somebody starts reading a book, somebody starts writing poetry, somebody starts doing a health exercise, some starts developing a program. So Zing is not absolute. It is subjective. It can start in small percentages. You cannot say, oh, it's all or nothing.
So Zing is incremental, and you have to constantly work towards multiplying it, amplifying it, because the moment you stop working on it, it may have a tendency to diminish.
Only one thing that develops without your effort, and that is your weight.
Yeah.
Everything else you have to work on. And Zing is no exception.
Yeah. Right. We have another question. Thank you for the questions, viewers. Keep them coming. We have a question from Mr. Rajendra Birod. There are a particular person who face too much ups and downs every day, but then also every time they try to develop more Zing in themselves, and if then also they come to a failure, so is that person not able to develop Zing, or his practices are somewhat less to increase his Zing, or any other reason?
Okay. Very good question. Please repeat the name of the person. Let's thank him.
Mr. Rajendra Birod.
So Rajendra Birod, your question was longer than this whole session, but still I try to answer it. It's a very pertinent question. So tell me, Sangeeta, do people who want to rob a bank work harder than those who work in the office?
Yeah.
So they also have a Zing. So if you are not achieving what you are getting, it means you have channelized your energy in the wrong direction. So Zing doesn't mean that you have Zing and things will just keep flowing. You still have to choose the right things to put your efforts in. You still have to evaluate whether you are achieving something. You can't just say, I put all my eggs in the Zing basket and now it will take me through in life.
Amazing, Suneel ji, amazing. So I just realized that your the Zing
Sangeeta,
of your...
am I looking like a biscuit that you keep calling me Suneel ji?
No.
I'm not looking like a biscuit, no?
No, you're looking exactly like Suneel ji, who I know and has not changed. In fact, he is more wiser now. So what I have understood is the Zing in your solutions have to be more powerful than the Zing in your problems.
No, it's not about being more powerful. It's like, for example, let me tell you. We usually get excited by things that we think are good, but actually secretly we want to do them. But they may not be the right things to do. Like, for example, I've met a lot of people who are very fond of networking. Oh, networking, it will improve my business. They want to do networking. but actually they know that they are very happy going and having breakfast or lunch or meeting with people, and actually they are not finding out whether that networking is yielding any results or not. On the other hand, somebody may be doing lesser networking but purposeful networking. So you can't just blame what you're doing. Either it's the portion that you're serving yourself is wrong, or that you're putting too much effort in one area and neglecting something else that has to be done along with it.
True.
Okay. Sangeeta, why do I have such a deep regret on your face for calling me over?
Not a regret. I'm having so many thoughts at the same time. So I don't know which question to ask you. Okay. Like when a company understands that their brand is slipping, they come to you, Sir, Sunil ji, please hamara brand ko strong kar dijiye. But when it comes to kids, college kids or youth in the age of 20 to 30, are aspiring Swayambhus, who will they approach when they want to increase or have more zing in life?
Oh, very good question, Sangeeta. There are two parts to this. One is don't let the illness become paralytic. Most people come when they have no choice. You go to a doctor because you can't help it. But the good people go to doctor in anticipation because they go not for illness, they go for wellness. So if you have that kind of approach that we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, then you may have a lot of time wasted to correct it. It's like when a car gets stalled, it takes a lot of effort to get it back into motion.
True.
But while it is in motion, a little less, much lesser effort will keep it moving. So that's the first part of the question. The second, whom do they go to? Now, I feel the three types of learning come to your rescue. The first is the Eklavya type of learning, where you trust yourself that I can do it myself. And you actually, go and look for yourself and figure it out yourself. The second is certification. I'm not a big fan of certification because I think it become a racket. People are doling out certificates, but they're not doling out abilities. But you can go for certification if that helps you. And the third is, you see, you have to decide whether you want to be a committed achiever or a periodic achiever. Now, all the athletes, they don't appoint a coach before the start of the season. They have a coach for the entire year. So now if you are committed, then you say, I am not looking at that as an incremental dosage to add some zing in me when I'm down. I want to keep my zing permanently at a high energy level. And that's why you create an ecosystem that leads you, empowers you, gives you the choice that if I fail, I have the solution with me. If I slip, there will be somebody to pick me down. If I don't have the next path, there is somebody to throw the light on.
That example was so significant. Amazing, amazing. More questions coming up, Sunil ji, if I can take over.
Take all. And do I have to answer them or will you be answering?
You will be answering them. You are the pro at the zing thing. I'm just learning. So a question from Mr. Bipin Cheda. Is there anything like zing being negative too?
Absolutely. Very good question. Mr. Cheda, what's his first name? Bipin. So Bipin, as I gave you the example of the robbers, you could have a zing that I want to become very popular on social media. You could have a zing that I want to move up the popularity charts. Yesterday, did you read the article when the rock singer confessed that he had paid so much money for the likes?
No,
there's an article where he said he paid so much because it topped the charts, and he said, I actually bought the likes. So your zing like that earlier said, do I get Zing? No, but you may have diverted that Zing in the incorrect areas to get fame, popularity, rather than doing something more productive, constructive, or developing. And that is not going to pay you dividends. It's only going to inflate you. So, Sangeeta, I would like people not to be inflatable, but to be inflammable. Inflammable means if they have the spark in them, the smallest light will inflame them. But if they're inflatable, the slightest prick will bring them down to earth.
You are adding dollops of humor, satire, and wisdom together. So we have a question from Miss Shehnaz once again. Does humor help to keep up the zing?
Well, you see what I have found, I have done some research on humor, and I found above all, it gets you get away with murder.
Okay.
Because nowadays you see people write a tough message and add a smiley next to it. So now you're confused whether to take the message or to the smiley, but the smiley kind of balances it. And that's the kind of humor adds to your life that you can say, how long can I keep tolerating these nonsensical questions, Sangeeta, and say it with a smile, and you will not know whether it is a direct question or, sorry, that was just an example, not the real thing, okay? So what happens is that humor can be a great tool to actually make the message, as in Hindi say, jor ka jhatka dheere se lage. So that is one. The second is that I have accidentally discovered sometime back that unless you are trying humor to amuse yourself, which is, like really doesn't serve a purpose, the other person feels that you're trying to connect with them. So I think it's a great EQ factor.
Right.
Because when the person's trying to amuse you, you feel he's giving you something, he's trying to reach out to you, he's trying to connect to you. And somehow it creates a bonding. And therefore, I think humor is a good weapon to have in the armory of any person, because it also makes you more listenable.
Right, sir. I loved it, what you said. I loved it. A recent example, sir. I had a few viewers and a few well-wishers telling me, Madam, you have this Getting Candid show for aspiring Swayambhus. Why don't you display the logo of Swaayambhu throughout the session? And why don't you display the session, the guest logo too, whichever company they represent? So I'd say, ये जो Getting Candid है, ये social movement है, और ये लोगों के लिए नहीं है, ये लोगों के लिए है. So when you told me that humor actually helps you to connect and strike a chord, I absolutely give 2 thumbs up for it. Okay. Absolutely true.
Let me give you some trivia that people don't know. That the word logo has originated in India.
Really?
Yeah.
So please elaborate.
Because, like I say, branding is not what you say about yourself, is what people say about you.
Okay.
And therefore, if you remember my seminar which you had hosted in Pune, when he goes to Ganpat Chacha, who's a cobbler, he says, Ganpat Chacha, आपका कोई logo नहीं है? बोलता है, हाँ, logo ने ही बनाया है मुझे. So actually, make the people. So I have just given you a tongue-in-cheek remark that probably it has been borrowed from the logo in Hindi, in English. That was a tongue-in-cheek. Don't look up Google and try to put it back on me.
No. I love it the way it is spontaneously coming, and we are learning so much with every answer. Believe you me, with everything so humorously and lightheartedly put, there is so much of intensity and depth in what you say. I love it, and I think the viewers are enjoying too. appreciate your questions and keep them coming so I can appreciate them more. Sir, one more question from Mr. Om Patil. He's become an ardent fan if he is not already one. Sir, Om Patil says further, so if you have worked hard your whole life to get a particular point and also keeping the zing up, leading a healthy life, it would be really hard to let go at the end. And even if we do let go the passion, it's a long question. Do let go the passion. I'm not able to see the entire question. We are still having it living in us. So would it be worth to let go of the zing after that? So after you have, done with your life, so you have really worked very hard. Is it okay to let go of the zing later?
No, I personally think, you see, if the spirit is willing, the body responds. So usually what happens is that when the body is willing, we don't have the zing. And when we know we can't do it, we say, oh, wish I could do it. So I think that you have to make the best of what you can while you can. If you have some limitations later on in life where, you can't flutter when you don't have the energy or you don't have the stamina to do things. So you have to slow down. But what you can do, if you have the zing, you will divert it to things that you can still do. Like people become coaches, they start writing articles, they start doing things because they can't let go that zing. So they know they can't run around in fields and do things but they still contribute in their areas in the way they can because the zing is still alive. Many of the coffins have fluttered because the zing refuses to leave them even after they leave.
Whoa, amazing! I'm getting goosebumps. Amazing. Sir, when you mentioned that, in the beginning, upon you parent, from the parents' point of view, what is it that the parent to ensure that the child develops a zing on his own later in life?
It's quite a bad news actually for the parents. One of the biggest challenges that I have seen is parents are so overprotective that they actually are scared to push the child into deeper waters. The sooner they realize that only after they go there will they learn to swim, will they understand that the earlier the better. So I feel the way to develop zing is to tell them, oh, we are not going to be there all the while. You better find your own way. Rather than say, main hu na. This is the typical parent, main hu na. But what actually we have to do is you telling, it's up to you. You can't expect me to mollycoddle you right through my life. So if they become tougher, to make them tougher, they will get the result. So they have to become tougher for the final result, Like for example, you must have lost your cool with your child at some stage, not because you lost love, because you saw the bigger picture that if I don't keep my cool now, I will be losing the bigger plot. So similarly, parents have to realize that the faster they make them independent, make them take own decisions, rather than always hovering around them or, and let them, they will fall. They will make mistakes. But it's not an option.
Beautiful. So it is not that tough people last tough times. It is also important to understand that tough parents will bring in tough kids and tough citizens. Sir, after your childhood, then comes the youth, when we have disregarded or, we don't no longer respect the parents. So now we are more inclined to have friends who we think are everything in our life at that point of time. So how important it is to have the right friends who will sap your energy or who will, nurture your energy or zing?
So, Sangeeta, one thing that you have to do, zing, is keep anything that is negative as a prevention. Keep it away. I haven't put on the television for the last 3.5 months because I feel ever since I read it, I only get sapped. My God, what's happening? I can better do without it. So if you have friends who are sapping your energy in your self-interest, stay away from them. Because you see, there are some people who are the proverbial hypochondriacs that you know.
Right.
They feed on negativity, they feed on misery, they feed on sympathy. Now, it's good to lend a helping hand or lend a shoulder to a good friend, but you can't be leaning all the while. So you have to make the other person say, okay, I'm there in the time of crisis. So they think it can't be a permanent crutch. So one is that I personally believe in the role of prevention, because cure, you are wasting a lot of time in doing something that could have avoided in the first place.
True.
So positivity always doesn't mean staying positive. It also means keeping away negativity, because that allows you to be in a positive state of mind.
Is it possible that you get addicted to negativity?
Both are equally addictive. Positivity is also addictive. Negativity is also addictive. It depends on, like you've heard the story that we all have two wolves inside us. One is anger, hatred, greed, and the other is passion, love. You think which wolf wins? Is the one you feed. So the one you feed will actually grow, and the other will gradually die away. So whom do you call? Hey, what happened? What happened there? You will call people because you want that negative news, and that person will call you. But if suppose you are indifferent, you ignore, you don't really show much interest, that person will go elsewhere. So it is both your prevention and your cure. So if you figure out that person is being negative, stay away, because otherwise you will have so much time to expend your energy in only driving away the negativity rather than moving ahead with positivity.
Perfect. Sir, in our society, marks are generally taken up as a benchmark for talent. So youngsters always feel that I have no marks, so there is nothing that can change my life. I cannot have a wonderful life which I see people having. So what suggestion, message and advice will you give to youth who are not academically very sound?
So you are addressing one. I have had a very, very poor academic record. I am in fact repeated a year also. And but I never felt short of confidence or energy. I just knew I didn't like mugging up things. I didn't like, I was curious. I remember stories. I knew I had a lot of other interests. So today the world has begun to acknowledge that there are so many alternate careers that you can develop outside your academic life. You can be a singer, you can be a DJ, you can be a hairstylist, you can be an event manager. I mean, the list is endless. But then you have to have enough passion to make that into a profession. Because you see, earlier that was the safety net. At least become a graduate, at least you'll get a job. It was a safety net. Now, Steve Jobs is a dropout. We've had so many stories of inspiring people, which should actually inspire them. But then they had passion. They were geeks. They were married to it. They were obsessed by it. And nobody asked them, what's your qualification? Because what they did spoke so much about what they are. So, in my personal brand, you just made me realize that we don't admire Kishore Kumar. We don't admire Virat Kohli. We don't admire Amitabh Bachchan. We admire the strokes of Virat Kohli. We admire the songs of Kishore Kumar. We admire the acting. And the acting that we endure makes us look who's behind it. So if they develop something that they are going to bring on the table, people are really going to ask you your CV. So if they are doing it, tell them, wipe the slate clean, get back to action. Don't try to brood over, oh my God, I don't have good academics.
Sir, have you seen examples in life where what I mentioned just now? Will you be able to state or quote any examples where they realize that there are multiple people you have met besides your own, where they have not done academically well in their school or college days, but are astoundingly popular and successful now?
See, I have met, interacted, worked for so many people who exactly fit the description that you're mentioning. They may not be public figures, but I have found a unique, because you see, it's a catch-22 position. When you have the degree, you demand respect. But when you have to work, you have to command respect. And therefore, they work harder. Others say, oh, I am there. You see my papers. You go for an interview. You say, yours. You just open your file and you have say, I have nothing else to say. But if people were employed on the cases of CV, why would they be called for an interview? So they get hired for their CVs, but they always get fired for their performance.
Woo! Woo!
So,
sir,
I time the
could you please
company
repeat that in your own style? Sir, please repeat that in your own style.
I said you get hired by your CV, but you get fired for your performance. They go with their big checkbooks to MBA schools because they look promising. But if they don't deliver, the pink slips are waiting at the end of the first year.
Woo!
So eventually, you have to know it's a performance. So work on your performance, not on your degrees, not on your academics.
Whoa! Absolutely amazing! Zing! Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm loving the session. I'm absolutely adoring the session. You can see me, trying to control my happiness and energy after each and every answer he's stating. If you have more questions, please ask. Oh my God, this was amazing, Sunilji. Amazing. There are so many things which are coming, compliments and so many things. I'm actually losing the questions here. So if you can just keep them coming, or Rohit, or you can just chat and send me the latest questions here. Too many questions and too many things happening here. But before I forget, I would like to say congratulations to Shehnaz Hussain Chawla for your wonderful question. You actually started a uranium reaction for more and more questions. So the Hangyo hamper of ice cream goes to you, Miss Shehnaz. So congratulations, and please send your address with your PIN code and your phone number to swayambhu@gmail.com, and we will ensure the Hangyor ice cream comes to you. And before Sunilji says anything, it is not to be shared. This cool zing is only for you.
So they get the ice cream, I get the stick, huh?
I think you are at such a stage where you're just adding zing to people's life and you are enjoying that. I think
I guess you
zing.
thought something very different when you thought of zing, I think.
I thought of energy, but you have taken it to another level and another layer, which I really didn't anticipate. So, like I repeat now, amazing.
Okay, great.
I think, Rohit, any questions? Any further questions, please? If you can just send me a chat notification. I think people have got their answers and no more questions. They are just accumulating zinc. Sir, any message from your side as Suneel Agarwal for our audience?
So, as you have realized that I don't believe in theories, I believe in practice. And I would like to tell them that theories are of no use unless you put them to practice. So there are a lot of people who are so excited about knowledge. They will listen to all this that we've spoken today. But it is those who actually put it into practice are the ones who will move forward. So, incidentally, I have a beautiful thing, and it's so accidental that both in English and Hindi it means the same thing. So in English it says either you run away or you make it a runway. And in Hindi it says bhag lo ya bhag lo, participate. So I feel that to actually get something, you first have to become a participant. You can't keep luring, looking from outside, wish this could happen to me, wish I could be successful, because you have to jump into the ring. And only when you jump in the ring, you will then accumulate all the energy inside you, because you know you are in the game. Half of the people don't get the energy because they are not even in the game. And that's why my T for that is, so how many sides are there to a circle, Sangeeta?
I think there are no sides. It's all open for everything.
2 sides, inside and outside. You can either be a spectator or you can be a participant. And the irony is that the spectators pay to the participants to watch them. And that happens in life too. That you actually have to move from the participant, from the spectator to a participant. And once you become a participant, the zing will follow, the motivation will follow, the energy will follow. But your first step is get into the ring before you get the zing.
Whoa, I think you have summed it beautifully. Get into the ring so that you can develop your zing. Amazing, amazing session.
And then the world will sing.
I say thank you. I think it will go on. We have Om Patil saying 3 times respect, sir, 3 times respect. So awesome, awesome, great, sir, awesome. Wow, energetic, lightning. You are getting a shower of compliments. Beautiful monsoon inside out. Beautiful monsoon inside out. So thank you, viewers. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for understanding, commenting, understanding his profound talks, his entity of Zing. So wishing you all a beautiful evening ahead. Wishing you all a lifelong Zing so that you are a committed achiever for lifetime. So thank you guys. Keep mailing, keep sending us messages. Our mail ID is swayambhu@gmail.com. We are so grateful to all the aspiring Swayambhus for connecting with us, and so grateful to the aspiring Swayambhus and the Swayambhu mentors and the Swayambhu well-wishers for constantly sharing about Swayambhu. We really don't need to, develop a brand here. Like he very correctly mentioned, log hi hamara logo hai. So thank you very much. God bless. Have the zing, and Sunil ji, you rock. You absolutely rock. Amazing.
Thank you, Sangeeta, for
have a fantastic week.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope your show continues after this session. They don't start abandoning you. All the best to you as well.
Thank you, Sunil ji.
Thank you.
I think nobody is going to abandon anybody here. We are all now thrilled and motivated enough to have the zing for ourselves and for others.
Right.
So thank you everyone, and as always, Jai Hind.
Yeah. Bye.